So, this is Night Stabber. Um, you probably won't been wondering what have I been doing all these months. What have I been thinking about? Well, I started up a Adeptus Mechanicus army in 40k. It was an army that I always wanted to play back in fourth edition. Never got really a chance to because they didn't have it out. Then these things called Knights came out, so I bought some of those too. Now, I wouldn't have had to do this if Games Workshop catered to my needs. Like, I want models to buy. If you had made models to buy for Warhammer Fantasy 8th edition, then I would have bought them. So, but you made these knights, and I like them a lot. I like it a lot. Um, and this is something that Games Workshop could have done a long time ago. People wanted to give you money, but you decided not to go ahead and do this. I think the new management actually realizes this, and so with their new sales model, they're actually doing pretty well. They're putting models out there for people to buy, and people are buying. So as long as you're putting models out there for people to buy, good rules out there for the models that they do buy to have, people are going to buy those models. It doesn't matter what it is. Bretonius could have been saved, but I digress. I went ahead and sold my Chaos Warriors army, and I love them dearly. I really do. This was my first fantasy army, and it was the first army I really delved deep into actually painting. And I realized this after picking up one of my old 40k models and looking at it. It's like, you came so far with just fantasy. And so I went to a big tournament, and I played against like this guy. He had some freaking Tau. And I had Tau. I've had two Tau armies, and I sold them both. But I looked at this Tau army. It's like, man, this is some good models to paint. But at the same time, I don't have the money. You know what I'm saying? But I do have these knights, and I got these freaking Mechanicum. I want to paint the fuck out of them. I'm gonna roll into that shit. So I got these Mechanicum guys. I got like 3 knights now. One of them being a galleon. I mean, I got a bunch of stuff. I got a lot of different extra parts and everything like that. So that's the thing. You know, as long as Games Workshop gives me something to paint, I'm gonna paint, dude. I got my airbrush. You know what I'm saying? I got my airbrush for Ninth Age, but Ninth Age they kind of fell flat. Then Games Workshop comes out with the Black Coach. A new Black Coach model. I'm like, Jesus Christ. If you guys had brought this out during Fantasy, people would have bought this shit. Do you realize what the old Black Coach used to look like? That thing was terrible. This thing looks freaking awesome. Yeah, I paid $96 for that shit. But I digress. I'm going back to 40k. I've played 40k for nearly 10 years. And then I went into fantasy. And the reason why I went to fantasy, because 40k didn't have the models that I wanted at the time. And they went against Chaos Warriors, and I hated that crap back in 3rd edition. I despised Games Workshop. So I went ahead and went to freaking fantasy. And I enjoyed fantasy. I thrived on fantasy. I loved it. I bought Beastmen. I bought an entire Beastmen army. I got models that I haven't even played with. I got models that I haven't even painted yet still for Beastmen. But Games Workshop killed fantasy, and I would love to see fantasy come back again as the old fantasy with big ranked units. It's the spectacle that I liked. But then I also like Space Marines. I always liked the idea of Space Marines. I mean, even the Ultramarines. I mean, they always had them on the posters and stuff like that. But it really wasn't my thing after a while. I started liking Tau and stuff like that. I even had a freaking I had a freaking whatchamacallit army, the Crew. But anyway, this is pretty cool to actually do this here video. This is what I've been doing for the past 3 months. I actually bought 3 different armies for 40k. In fact, it's probably like 4 armies by now. But just touching back with you guys. I haven't gone anywhere. I'm still playing tabletop games. Still doing my thing. Still not really hating police, but doing my own thing like Dr. Dre. But hope you guys enjoyed this update. Catch you later.